So last time, guys, we introduced the concept of the human ear. We talked about the parts. We labeled the outer ear, the middle ear, as well as the inner ear. We talked about the functions, the function of the tympanic membrane, the function of the ossicles, the function of the organ of Corti, all of that. And then we talked about how the process of hearing works. Now we are moving on the conditions of the human ear. Remember, guys, that the body actually functions with certain conditions, all right? So if it happens that those conditions are not met, you start having other problems or other conditions or other infections, okay? So we've got certain infections that a person can have based on the ear, okay? So let's look at the first one, which is the middle ear infection, all right? So the middle ear infection is one of the common diseases that happens. This one is very important for you to understand. This is the most important one for you to understand as a grade 12 learner, because it is the one that actually comes up in most question papers. The middle ear infection, it occurs when there is excess fluid, that builds up in the what? In the middle ear. So basically inside the middle ear, there can be an excess fluid buildup, or basically there can be fluids that are building up inside the what? Inside the middle ear, right? So remember, guys, the middle ear is the one that is having the ossicles. It is the one that is having all of that. So basically, this is the middle ear, looking at it like in a reality perspective. This is how it looks like. This is the middle ear. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane, do you see, guys, that is very light. This transparent layer that you can see on top. I don't know if you guys can see it properly. But basically, we've got this transparent layer, all of this smaller transparent layer. This is the tympanic membrane, or this is your eardrum, but you call it the tympanic membrane, the tympanum. So the tympanic membrane, it is very light, and inside, just behind this layer, you start finding your middle ear. This is the first ossicle. This is the malleus. This is the first ossicle. Okay. So basically, this is how it looks like from the outside. So inside the middle ear, just behind the tympanic membrane, remember, we are now at the middle ear, right? So inside the middle ear, if there's some fluids that are building up inside the middle ear, or if there are fluids that are more than necessary building up inside the middle ear, they actually block the ossicles. Because remember, guys, we say that these ossicles, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, they must be able to vibrate, right? The ossicles must be able to do what? To vibrate, or you can say they must be able to oscillate. So basically, if there's a fluid that is building up in the middle ear, the malleus and the other ossicles, they won't be able to vibrate. So that disturbs hearing. So it's known as a middle ear infection. We call it the middle ear infection because inside the middle ear, there's an excess fluid. There's an excess fluid buildup, or you find fluids that are extra. Fluids are just a kind of liquid substances, right? So there can be any liquid substance that builds up in the middle ear, and it's more than enough, because basically the middle ear, it has got its own fluids inside it, right? But there must not be too much fluid that builds up inside it. So if too much fluid accumulates, or if too much fluids build up in the middle ear, the person will end up having this middle ear infection, meaning that their ossicles will not be able to oscillate anymore. They will not be able to move anymore or vibrate. Because I told you guys when we did the process of hearing that the most important thing about the ossicles is that they must be vibrating. First of all, the vibrations will start at the tympanic membrane. When the sound waves hit the tympanic membrane will vibrate. And those vibrations, they must be transferred to the what? To the ossicles, the malleus, the incus, as well as the stapes. All right. So if those three bones, those ossicles, are not able to vibrate properly, then you're gonna have a problem. You won't be able to hear that much, because the function of the ossicles, it is to amplify the sound waves. So the sound waves that you are hearing, they will be having a low volume in most cases because of this middle ear infection. So the middle ear infection is just a condition whereby there is an excess fluid buildup, meaning that there's a lot of liquid that is building in the middle ear. All right. So this is actually caused by certain things. It is caused by pathogens entering the eustachian tube and causing the infection. Remember, guys, we've got an eustachian tube. The eustachian tube is one of the parts that is found inside the middle ear. I don't know if you guys took note of it, this one. So the eustachian tube, it is this part here. Uh, okay, let's just do this. Right. So the eustachian tube, it is this part here, this part here, this part here is your eustachian tube. So the eustachian tube, it is the one that is actually a pipe that is connecting the throat to the middle ear. So basically your throat is connected to the middle ear if you didn't know. It is connected by the eustachian tube. So this eustachian tube here, it is a part that is connecting your what? Your throat to the middle ear. As we've already said that last time, the eustachian tube, its function is to equalize pressure on either sides of the tympanic membrane, on both sides of the tympanic membrane. Right. So if it happens that some pathogens enter the eustachian tube, pathogens, guys, are just those microorganisms that are causing diseases. Pathogens are just microorganisms that are causing diseases. It can be bacteria, it can be fungi, it can be any smallanyana organisms, microorganisms. If they enter here at the eustachian tube, they can enter into the middle ear, because this is the middle ear that we're talking about here. This place where we find the ossicles and all of that. So this is the middle ear. So if pathogens enter this region, they can cause some fluids to build up. So that's the main cause for the middle ear. Basically, the middle ear infection, is caused by what? It is caused by these excess by these pathogens entering the eustachian tube. Because remember that pathogens basically they are those microorganisms that cause diseases or that cause infection. So when they enter into your middle ear through the eustachian tube, or when they enter the eustachian tube, they will actually cause the infection in the middle ear. And then this fluid cannot be able to drain. This fluid cannot be able to drain through. It simply means that this fluid cannot be able to leave the middle ear. Okay, so this liquid that builds up in the middle ear here, this liquid that is building up here in the middle ear region, it is not able to do what? It is not able to drain. It's not able to leave the middle ear. And that's a problem. That's when you start having this middle ear infection. This actually causes the middle ear to be inflamed, okay, because there is too much fluid in it. So if there is too much fluid in it, it's actually inflamed. It becomes inflamed. So to be able to treat this, you can just get some medication. That's the first thing. You just get some medication, or you use Gromets if you are having younger children. For example, if young children have got this middle ear infection, to treat it, they use Gromets. A Gromet is just a smaller tool. This tool that is green here is known as a Gromet. What is the function of a Gromet? The Gromet is actually used to drain the fluid inside the middle ear. So since we say that the middle ear has got excess fluid, there's too much liquid that is building up inside the middle ear, you can insert a grommet into the ear of a child. Okay. Like if you go to a young children, this is for young children only. If you are very young, very, very, very young, and you have this middle ear infection, they just insert this smallanyana device, smallanyana tool known as a grommet. So when they insert the grommet, what happens? The grommet actually gets inside the what? Inside the middle ear, and it drains the excess fluid. I think we all can see here that this is the middle ear region. These are the ossicles. These are your bones. These are the ossicles, right? These are your ossicles. So this is your middle ear. And then this green thing that you can see here, it is the what? The grommet. This is the grommet. Okay. So when you place the grommet inside the middle ear, it's able to just allow the fluid, the excess fluid. So you can see that we're having this purplish fluid here. This purplish fluid is able to do what? It's able to now drain through the grommet and come out of the ear. So if you have, I don't know if you have had younger siblings who have had the middle ear infection when they were still young, they would just take this smallanyana device known as a grommet. Because really a grommet for young children is very easy to just insert inside it, because young children, they've got there's actually a smaller distance between their outer ear and the middle ear. So if you just put the smaller device, it's able to reach the middle ear and is able to take away the fluid from the middle ear, drain it. So the grommet is just a tool. It's just a tool that is used to do what? To drain some excess fluid. So this is the excess fluid, or this is the excess liquid that is building up inside the what? Inside the middle ear. And if you continue having this excess fluid, guys, I told you it's going to be very dangerous, because your ossicles will not be able to vibrate freely, right? So let's just write down the effects of having this middle ear infection on hearing, okay? what are the effects of having middle ear infection on hearing? Let's just say you've got middle ear infection. How is your hearing affected? Okay, I'm just going to write here. All right. So what is the effect of the middle ear infection on hearing? What is the effect of the middle ear infection on hearing? How does it affect your sound, the sound that you're hearing? First of all, remember the middle ear infection, there is excess fluid that is building up in the what? In the middle ear. So basically, due to this excess fluid that is building up in the middle ear, the ossicles will not be able to vibrate freely. Okay, so this is due what? Due to the excess fluid that is building up. So due to the excess fluid, or just due to this excess liquid building up, so due to this excess fluid build up in the middle ear, right? So due to this excess fluid build up in the middle ear, what actually happens, the ossicles will not be able to vibrate freely. So ossicles cannot vibrate freely. Cannot vibrate freely, because when I explained the process of hearing, guys, I told you that the ossicles must be able to vibrate alongside the tympanic membrane. So if you're having too much fluid inside the middle ear, like if there is a lot of fluid here in this middle ear region, then these bones known as the ossicles, they won't be able to vibrate freely, because there's a fluid that is building up here. Okay, so due to this excess fluid that is building up in the middle ear, what actually happens, the ossicles cannot be able to vibrate freely. And remember, guys, that the whole purpose of ossicles is to amplify sound, or it is to amplify sound waves, to make sound waves to become bigger so that you can be able to hear them. So basically, if the ossicles cannot vibrate freely, the sound will not be amplified. Sound waves will not be amplified. Okay, sound waves will not be amplified. So if the sound waves are not amplified, because the ossicles, remember guys, for them to be able to amplify the sound, they must be able to vibrate and vibrate, making the sound to be big. I already explained to you guys that the sound enters through the large tympanic membrane and it leaves through the what? Through the smaller oval window. So this actually causes the sound waves to be bigger or to be amplified. I even made an example using a pipe, right? So here, if the ossicles are not able to vibrate freely, grade 12, they will not be able to amplify the sound. In fact, the sound waves will not be amplified. You will not be able to hear the sound waves yourself, because they need to be amplified first so that they become big and you can be able to perceive them. So basically, this will result in low sound, okay? So you can just say this resulting in lower sound, or anything like that. I can say this results in lower sound, or you can say that the sound that you will be able to hear will be low volume. It will have low volume because it has not been amplified. Its vibrations, the vibrations were not amplified. So you can say the vibrations are not amplified. Usually you use the term vibrations rather than sound waves. So you can use the term sound waves or vibrations, because remember that at the middle ear, we have got vibrations, right, that are coming from the sound waves. So this is due to this middle ear infection. So if you've got the middle ear infection, your ossicles are not able to vibrate due to the excess fluid that is building up in the middle ear. And if the ossicles cannot be able to vibrate freely, then it means that they will not be able to amplify sound, because that is their function. It is to amplify sound waves, to amplify vibrations, to make them bigger. All right. So basically, if they are not able to oscillate or vibrate freely, if these ossicles, if these 3 bones, grade 12s, they are not able to vibrate freely, then they will not be able to amplify the vibrations. It means that you're gonna hear lower sound, low volume sound. Even when I'm talking and I'm shouting, you won't be able to hear me properly. It's because your ossicles are not working. Your ossicles are not amplifying my sound enough for you to hear me or perceive what I'm even talking with a louder voice. So basically, even if I shout and shout, when I will be hearing me as if like I'm just mumbling, right? You kind of get the sense, Greatov.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, medication is the best for older people, but for younger children, try to use Gromets because younger children they've got smaller ears. It's not hard to just insert this tool. So in young child, you just put this Gromet tool. You put it through the ear, like outside through the ear, the outer ear, like through the pinna here. Rabo, you just put it and insert it inside. The moment you insert it, it's able to drain down all the fluid, and that fluid will leave. It will leave through the ear, through the outer ear. It will leave through the pinna. You just see your ear swelling and having this fluid that is kind of coming out of it. That is the fluid that has been built up inside the middle ear. So that's the first infection that you guys need to know, and is very important as well. Then the second most important one, it is deafness. Deafness, we define deafness as total or partial hearing loss. So now, when the hearing is now being lost, we say that you are now being deaf. You are now having the condition of deafness. Okay, you are not able to hear the sound waves at all. All right, deafness, you are not able to hear the sound waves at all. You're not able to hear sound at all. All right. What actually causes this? This is caused by injury to the parts of the ear. Caused by what? By injury to the parts of the ear. Or it can be injury to the nerves, such as the auditory nerves, or the parts of the brain that are responsible for hearing. How do we mean here? First of all, guys, remember all of these parts, they work together so that you can be able to hear some sound. Remember, the sound waves, they enter through the pinna and they go through the auditory canal. The moment when they reach here at the tympanic membrane, the ossicles must be able to do what? To vibrate. So if it happens that your ossicles are hard, the ossicles are not vibrating, because it can happen that these ossicles are fused too much and they cannot be able to vibrate. That's a problem, because the ossicles must be able to vibrate so that they can be able to transmit some sound waves, also to amplify the vibrations. I mean, they must be able to vibrate. That's the first point. So if it happens that the ossicles are hardening or the ossicles are becoming hard, they are becoming stiff, they are not easy to vibrate, they are not vibrating easily, then that's a problem. Okay, that will cause for example, in the middle ear infection, I already explained to you guys, Uti, when there is excess fluid buildup, those ossicles kind of may find it hard to oscillate, or they find it hard to vibrate. Those 3 points, they find it hard to vibrate. So the vibrations will never be amplified at all. That can cause deafness. In fact, the middle ear infection, it can cause deafness, the one that you just talked about, because it causes the oscillations to become hard, the oscillations to not be that much free. Okay, they are not free to vibrate, or basically the ossicles are hardening, or they are becoming stiff. I think you guys are getting the sense. I keep on repeating the same thing, but basically your ossicles, those three bones, they are what? They are hardening. Those 3 bones, they are hardening, and they are not able to oscillate freely. If they're not able to oscillate freely, basically that causes the sound waves to not be that much amplified. That's why I said, even if I shout in your ears, you won't be able to hear me. You won't be able to hear me because the sound is not being amplified. Okay, even if I shout, no matter how I shout, you will not be able to hear me. So Trevor is saying, where does this fluid that accumulates come from? All right, as we've already said, Trevor, that the middle ear infection, based on the middle ear infection that we just did, we say due to the middle ear infection, when actually occurs when pathogens are entering inside your what? Inside your ear, right? The middle ear infection occurs when pathogens are entering inside your middle ear. So when these pathogens enter inside your middle ear, they actually cause the fluid to build up. Basically, naturally, there is fluid that is building, that there is always fluid inside the middle ear. The middle ear is a fluid-filled layer. Basically, the middle ear, it has got some fluids inside it, but that fluid must not stay there for a long time. Okay, Vele is produced in the middle ear. The fluid is produced in the middle ear, but that fluid must not stay there for a long time. That fluid must actually drain down through the eustachian tube. So basically, the fluid naturally, the middle ear has got some fluid. Okay, Naturally, the middle ear has got some fluid. So that fluid is always there, but it is supposed to drain. Normally, it is supposed to get out of the middle ear. It is not supposed to build up in the middle ear. So that liquid that is building up, it is supposed to drain through the eustachian tube. It is supposed to drain through the eustachian tube. It's not supposed to stay there for long. But if it happens that some pathogens enter your middle ear through the eustachian tube, then the pathogens will actually cause this fluid to not be able to leave, or they will cause the fluid to not be able to get out of the middle ear. So if the fluid cannot get out of the middle ear, then you can say what? You are now having an excess fluid build up. You're having a fluid that is accumulating there. Are you answered, Trevor, on where the fluid is coming from in the first place?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this is what is supposed to happen naturally, but due to the middle ear infection, the fluid builds up. Okay, that's the first part that can go wrong, the ossicles, the one that you've already discussed. What about the other parts? The nerves can have a problem, okay? The other, I'm sure we said here that this deafness is caused by injury to the parts of the ear, okay? Parts of the ear that can be injured. We can talk about the nerves as well as part of them, or we can even talk about the organ of Corti. If we go to the middle ear, or to the inner ear, this part C here is the cochlea, right? The part C is a cochlea, and the cochlea, it has got the what? The organ of Corti. Okay? It has got the organ of Corti. If it happens that the organ of Corti is damaged, remember the organ of Corti, it is the one that has got a receptor. It acts as a receptor. It converts the pressure waves into nerve impulses, and those nerve impulses are sent to the cerebrum so that you can be able to hear the sound. So if it happens that the organ of Corti or the cochlea is not working properly, then it means that we will not have nerve impulses. In fact, the pressure waves that are created in the inner ear, they will not be converted into what? Into impulses. And that's a problem because your brain can only perceive impulses, right? The brain can only perceive impulses. And Sophia here is asking, so say, how do you clean the fluid? Because they say earbuds pushes the fluid back in the middle ear. Okay, so you should not use earbuds. You should not use earbuds. Earbuds are used to clean the auditory canal, right? The earbuds are used to just clean this section here, the auditory canal. You can see this section here highlighted in red. Earbuds are used to clean some earwax. Remember that the auditory canal has got some earwax. Okay, the earwax, the dirt of the ear, that dirty part of the ear, it is the one that is being cleaned by earbuds. But if you want to drain the fluid, it means that you need a tool that can go through this tympanic membrane. But for small children, you would use what? You would use grommets and drain the fluid, physically drain the fluid like the way we did. But for older people, you use medication to do that. If you use medication, it can be able to just destroy the pathogens here and allow the fluid to just drain on its own naturally. Because the fluid is supposed to drain through the eustachian tube naturally. But due to those pathogens, it does not drain. So for older people, you use medication because your ear is kind of long. You cannot just be able to put a grommet in an older person. But in a younger child, you can put a grommet because really the grommet will eventually reach the middle ear quicker inside a younger child, because younger children have got soft tissue. It's very easy to just insert a grommet and it will work. So don't use earbuds for draining the fluid. Earbuds are just used to clean the auditory canal, clean the earwax. Earbuds is for cleaning earwax. Does that make sense, Sophia?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, so earbuds, clean earwax. Okay, and then now, I've already told you guys that if it happens that the cochlea is the one that is damaged, this part, which is part C, if it is the one that is damaged, then you're going to have a problem as well, because inside the cochlea, you're supposed to find the organ of Corti, the one that converts a stimulus into nerve impulses. So how are you going to convert stimulus into nerve impulses if it happens with if it happens that the organ of Corti is not working. So the organ of Corti inside the cochlea is very important. Okay. So if it happens that there's an injury to the organ of Corti, that part of the ear, then you can say which no impulses will be generated. Or you can say that the stimulus, which is the pressure waves, are not converted to nerve impulses. And if there are no impulses that will go to the cerebrum, then you will not be able to perceive the sound in the first place. If you understand the process of hearing, it makes it easy. Okay. And then the other parts of the ear, the nerves, the auditory nerve, this part here. Remember, guys, we said that the auditory nerve is not the same as the auditory canal. The auditory nerve is the one that transmits the nerve impulses from the inner ear to the cerebrum, so that the cerebrum can be able to do what? To interpret the sound. So if the auditory nerve is not working, then it means that the impulses will not be able to flow through the auditory nerve to go to the cerebrum. And if the impulses are not getting to the cerebrum, then you're going to have a problem. So I'm sure you guys can be able to explain each and every part here. The ossicles, if ossicles are not vibrating freely, then the sound will not be able to be amplified, number one. If the cochlea is damaged, or maybe the organ of Corti is damaged, then it means that the pressure waves will not be converted into a stimulus, into an impulse. Okay. If the auditory nerve is damaged, then it means that the nerve impulses will not be able to be transmitted. You're just going to tell us what is the function of that thing, and then you say, if it's not functioning properly, then it won't be able to do this and that. If the auditory nerve is not able to function properly, it won't be able to transmit nerve impulses from the inner ear to the cerebrum. And the other parts, the parts of the brain, there are other parts of the brain that are responsible for hearing. Since we say that, guys, the cerebrum is the one that is that perceives or everything that's happening inside your body. So basically, that happens in this case as well. If parts of your brain that are responsible for hearing, if it happens that they are damaged, then you'll not be able to perceive the sound, because the cerebrum is the one that is supposed to interpret the nerve impulses, interpret them as sound, so that you can be able to hear what I'm talking about. So if parts of your brain are damaged, then you will not be able to hear me. That is why sometimes when people are in an accident, you find out maybe their head has been hit hard. Their head has been hit hard or something like that. And now all of a sudden they don't hear you. It's not the ear that's the problem. It's not the outer ear, the one that you can say. It's not this ear that that is giving the problem. No, it is certain parts in the cerebrum that are responsible for hearing. Those parts are not working. They are not able to interpret the nerve impulses as sound. So this causes a total or partial hearing loss, aka deafness. And to be able to heal this, you're going to use hearing aids as well as cochlear implants. Those are two. I'm sure you guys know what hearing aids are. A hearing aid looks like this. I'm sure you guys have seen people wearing these things. These are hearing aids, right? Hearing aids are very important as well. They're just going to replace the functions that are not working in you. Let's just say, for example, maybe your ossicles are not working and your sound is not amplified. The hearing aid will just amplify the sound on its own, because your body is usually using electricity to function, guys. So if you just use a hearing aid, it can be able to just do the same function as the ossicles. That's the power of technology. Hearing aid can just be able to just amplify the sound. Hearing aids, most of the times, they are there for amplifying the sound, because you put a hearing aid if you cannot hear sound that much loud. Okay, let me just say I'm talking so much loud, but when I just hear a small nyana sound, as if like I'm whispering, as if like niyahleba or something, no. Yabo. So basically that is actually where the hearing aids play a role. You get a hearing aid, you wear it, you put it inside your ear. Okay, you wear the hearing aid. The hearing aid is able to do what? The hearing aid is able to amplify the sound waves. Okay, amplify the vibrations. It's able to do everything that the ossicles can do. So it can replace the ossicles. We also have got cochlear implants. Remember, guys, that the cochlea is the one that has got the organ of Corti. This part C, as I've already told you, there's an organ of Corti. are responsible for converting the pressure waves into stimulus nerve into nerve impulses njalo. And the nerve impulses must go to the cerebrum. So if it happens that your cochlea is damaged, if it happens that your cochlea is not working, or maybe the organ of Corti is not able to convert the stimulus into nerve impulses, that is a problem. That is a problem. So you get a cochlear implant. This is how a cochlear implant looks like. You just put it outside outside in your head. You just put it outside. You don't really have to actually insert it inside the ear. No, you just place it here in your head. This is a cochlear implant. It will just replace the function of the organ of Corti. Remember, the organ of Corti, guys, is supposed to take the pressure waves, take the stimulus, convert it into a nerve impulse. So if the organ of Corti is not working, or if the cochleus is not working, that will be a problem. So what you do, get a cochlear implant. The cochlear implant will be the one that will take the pressure waves and convert them into nerve impulses. Those nerve impulses, guys, are just electric signals. That's just electricity in the first place. That's just electricity in the first place. So if you're using a cochlear implant, it converts the pressure waves into electrical signals, and it sends those electrical signals to your brain. That's how crazy technology is. That's how nice your body works. It works using electricity. So we can just be able to just create the impulses on our own using such devices such as the cochlear implant. And Trevor is asking, would you say, Mara, if a nerve and parts of the brain responsible for hearing are damaged, that condition can't be healed, right? Since no one will want to do the surgery in your brain. Not really, Trev. Medical research has evolved so much over the past. Okay, there's almost nothing that they cannot heal. Okay, there's almost nothing that they cannot heal. Medical research has grown so big. Each and every part that is responsible for hearing, it can be replaced, it can be recreated using technology. Just like, as I've already told you, even if it happens that your cochlea is not working, the organ of Corti is not working. If it happens that that's the case, it doesn't mean you cannot hear forever. The doctors will do the magic, or not really doctors.
Hey Lapo, I know that you've been enjoying this wonderful video, and most likely you've been enjoying watching this handsome face in front of you, but sorry ladies, I'm taken. I just here to tell you that Educate is on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I post new videos. I want you guys to pass. Okay, so if you make my dream true, I reach 100k subscribers, I will make your dreams come true. I will even get you to varsity. I will get you with 7 distinctions. Yes.
You can ask.
So I'm saying, hearing aid, isuke lokhuzana, if like beyibekile endlebeni noma bayifaka inside ikhanda noma izimuka leyo nto leyo ngathi ingene phakathi.
Oh, hearing aid. Okay.
Yeah, sir.
All right. So hearing aid.
Bengibuza say in case besibuza ukuthi explain the structural disability of deafness noma cause mhlambe besibuza nge-hearing aid.
Okay. All right. So hearing aid, it just sits like behind your ear, but you see that I think this part here, it is the one. Let me just highlight the part that I'm talking about. This part here, it is the one that gets inside your auditory canal. So you actually put it inside. You know that part, that thing that looks like a globe, nyan. That thing that looks like a globe. From this diagram that I've shown you at first, this part that looks like a light or like a globe, you actually snack it inside the what? Inside the auditory canal. So ihlohla lapha phakathi auditory canal, so that izokwazi ukureceive ama-sound waves and then turn them into vibrations. Is that a bit clear what you're seeing it from the image, how she's wearing it, Kanjen? Yeah. So this is how you wear a hearing aid. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm never saying we need to mhlambe bayidrilla phakathi.
Oh, so I understand that. Okay. No. Asike also with phakathi. Angisho vele the hearing aids. Yeah.
So mhlawumbe phela mhlawumbe for example bakushaya medication otholale and then beyitrade bengitshela lokho mina sekodwa singalandela.
Hey, you're a dangerous doctor, Hlelo. Hlelo is saying that this hearing aid, he thought that we're gonna drill it inside really? Okay, but no, there's no need to do that. This is just like a tool, yeah, but it's just a small device. You don't really have to, you can remove it. It's movable. Yeah, your function here is to just replace the outer ear, just to do the function of collecting the sound waves, converting into vibrations, and amplifying them at the same time. It can do all of that all at once in such a way that when you put it inside your ear, it will just be sending pressure waves there. It will just be sending pressure waves to the inner ear. So you usually use a hearing aid if you are not damaged in the inner ear, if the inner ear is working properly. Okay, if the inner ear is working properly, so you just use a hearing aid to solve the problem. If you've got ossicles, for example, the ossicles, if they are fused in and the ossicles are not able to vibrate freely, you just use a hearing aid to replace and do the work. But if it happens that your brain or maybe the auditory nerve is damaged, the hearing aid won't do anything for you. You would have to look for a better device such as the cochlear implant. The cochlear implant will replace your cochleas, your organ of cord, with another device as well known as an auditory brainstem implant as well. That one it replaces the auditory nerve, all of that. Yes, Hlelo.
So I'm to explain structural suitability yakhona ngichaza ukuthi i-hearing aid iyasiza ngokuthi i-transmit ama-sound waves ama-vibrations to i-auditory canal. Ngingafana understand noma more specific.
Okay. First of all, they won't ask you guys about structural suitability of the hearing aid per se, but they can ask you the function of the hearing aid. To an extent, they can ask you the function of the hearing aid. Most of the times, they will give you case studies about the hearing aid, and they will give you all the information most of the times because they don't want you to become too much technical into the hearing aid. Okay, but the hearing aid, what does it do? To explain it in simple terms, it collects the sound waves, converts them into vibrations, and amplifies those vibrations. So in fact, it is doing the work of the outer ear, is doing the work of the middle ear, both at once. And it can it actually cause pressure waves to start forming here at the cochleas. So here, that's where the pressure wave will be forming. But its function collecting sound waves, making them to be vibrations, of course, and then amplifying them. But it cannot work if you've got problems there in the nerves and the inner ear. It doesn't usually work. Okay. So I think Awesome. Oh yeah, this is what I've already explained, guys. How I already explained why does the middle ear infection lead to deafness? Because the middle ear infection can cause you to be deaf. I already told you that if there is excess fluid that is building up in the middle ear, this causes the ossicles to not vibrate freely. Now I already told you. And no vibrations will be transmitted to the oval window. No pressure waves will be created. No impulses will be sent to the brain for interpretation, to the cerebrum. Same thing that I've already explained. We'll see why this middle ear infection can cause you to not be able to hear properly. This is just how to explain it. So due to this excess fluid that is building up, the ossicles cannot vibrate freely. And if there are no vibrations transmitted to the oval window, there won't be any pressure waves created in the inner ear. And no impulses will also be sent for the interpretation. Or maybe you can say less impulses will be sent for interpretation. So it's still correct as well. So middle ear infection can lead to deafness, by the way. So you need to act on it and drain down the fluid immediately. Are we together, grade 12s?
Yes, sir.